Hey guys, so in this video, we're going to talk about how to get support from your own network and how to bring on board your friends and family. Let's get on it. So, the first thing I want to talk about is that most people's life changing attempts usually come up after a life changing event, a trigger event. That is what I call it. And you must realize that a lot of these trigger events do not work on people at the same time. So you may have looked in the mirror last night and realized that you're 20 or 40 pounds or kilos overweight and you look disgusted in yourself. And maybe your friend is in the same situation. But perhaps by looking in the mirror yesterday, you realize that you have to change that about yourself and it has to happen now. But your friend may take longer or may have already realized but have not accepted it yet that he has to do the same thing. But the timing is just not right there. So it's very hard sometimes to want your friends and family to join you in the journey when perhaps they're not even ready to start thinking about that journey. So this idea ties into the concept mentioned to me by an entrepreneur called Dan Martell, which is instead of trying to be a tugboat, you have to try to be the lighthouse. And here is why. This is the analogy. When a boat is approaching a dock and it has to get safely into the dock without hitting the sides or anything, there are two options that can allow him to safely do that. The first one is a tugboat, which is a mini speedboat that little by little bumps the boat and puts him in the right position. And every time the bigger boat is not going to the right direction, the boat has to go to the other side and push the bigger boat so that it corrects its course and make sure that it arrives safely at the port. That requires a lot of energy from the tugboat and a lot of fuel consumed. The other spectrum is the lighthouse. So the lighthouse simply illuminates the path towards the port, and the big boat can choose to go into the port. And if it sees the light and it sees where it has to go, it is much easier for the boat to arrive safely. The biggest difference in these two scenarios is that the outcome is the same. The big boat goes into the port. The process is different. The tugboat requires a lot more energy and a lot more effort from the person instead of the lighthouse, which simply illuminates the path and welcomes anybody who's willing to go into the port. And so, how does this tie into family and friends? If your friends and family are not ready to go into the port, trying to tugboat them and to slowly guide them into the port may even work, but it requires way too much energy and way too much effort that you need for habit forming and habit changing. Because if you're using all your willpower trying to convince other people in your life to achieve the same things that you want at the same time as you, then you won't have that energy to convince yourself to go down that path. And you may even get discouraged because if your friends and family are not doing it, should you be doing it, right? So you need to be very aware of this and try to be instead a lighthouse that illuminates the path, shows what you're doing to try to change your life. And if people want to join you in your journey, they can ask you questions, and then you're willing to help because you know they're willing participants and they want to achieve the same things as you, or at least understand where you are going. Now let's talk about negative people in your network, in your family and friends. This is something that I learned very early on, and it is that negative energy and the people you surround yourself with is one of the biggest downfalls of a lot of people that are trying to change their lives. Because especially at the beginning, if you don't have a lot of willpower and a lot of experience with habit changing, you might even have doubts yourself. You might even have insecurities about this journey that you're trying to go on to. And if you have everybody around you telling you that you won't make it and it's stupid what you're doing and you've tried it a lot of times before and it has never worked, then you're much more likely to not even start or to not even try to go down that road. So you need to minimize contact as much as possible with negative energy from friends and family. This ties into the analogy of the crabs in the bucket. If you put a lot of crabs in the bucket and one tries to reach out of the bucket, all the other crabs will pull him back down. so none of the crabs comes out. So if all of your family is overweight and you're trying to get out of the bucket of being overweight and onto the beach where everybody's smiling and is beautiful and has a good body, they will pull you down and they won't allow you to get out of that bucket. So you need to be aware of that and minimize contact with negative friends and family. So another thing that is important is that there's a study that was made in 2014, published by the Journal of Consumer Research, and it found that friends often bond by providing one another with moral support to resist a temptation. However, friends also commonly conspire together to enjoy indulgences. So researchers discovered that when it came to resisting temptations like eating chocolate, sometimes friends were more likely to become partners in crime as they decided to indulge together. So you are likely to start acting like the people you surround yourself with. Pick the friends who make poor choices and you could get dragged down fast. Instead, you should aim to pick friends who inspire and challenge you to become better. Okay, so now let's talk about your neutral network, right? Maybe your friends and family are totally against you, but maybe they're not totally towards you. They're just simply, in a neutral place and they don't support or go against you. For these people, they don't really change your life. So you might as well just be a lighthouse for them. Just show what you're doing in your journey. If they're interested, they can also join you. And if they're not, fine. You'll do whatever you want. They'll do whatever they want, right? It's not something either or. Since they're neutral, they don't really affect you, and you don't have to spend time explaining to them and having them bash your ideas and bash your dreams and goals. However, ideally, I'd recommend you to find a group of people that are in the same path of you, or at least have a growth mindset, that are going towards their dreams and goals. Why? Because of the positive influence. You might not have any negative people in your life, but if you have mediocre people that don't really inspire you, they can also hurt you. And it's not only a neutral thing, it can definitely hurt you. So if you surround yourself with people that are in the same path as you, that will allow you to enjoy the experience a lot more and really bounce off ideas off each other. And those people have more or less the same energy as you in regards to habit changing. So, ideally you'd have these people in your network, in your family and friends, and maybe you do. Maybe you have surrounded yourself with people that are amazing, that are changing your lives, or at least want to do what you are doing, right? If you don't have it, okay, it's not a perfect world, right? You just need to find it outside of yourself. You can go locally and find groups of people that are growth oriented and are trying to change their lives. You can go online to find an ideal community. And that's exactly why I created our Facebook community, the Life Changing Habits community. And if you want to join, we have a bunch of people there that are trying to change their lives and are trying to improve their habits, delete their old bad habits and improve their habits, and install great new habits for them in their lives. And we also have a mini course there teaching you how to choose a habit, how to prepare your challenge, and how to start and manage the deterrence. And also we have some interviews with experts, psychologists, and some more videos. And the content is always updated weekly. On top of all this, you can always message me on Facebook if you're inside the group, and we can always schedule a call so that we prepare your path, this journey for you and your challenge. And you can always call me if you have any questions or you feel demotivated, and I can spice you up. So I hope this video helped you understand how you can bring your friends and family in your journey if they want to. And if you have any questions or comments, just send them to me and I'll try my best to answer that. And I'll see you on the next video.